Good morning. Thank you all for joining us and letting us take up some of your time on a Thursday morning. Very excited today to be talking through digital marketing, what's new in digital marketing to be precise. We try and do these quarterly, so we've got some really good insights from PPC, paid media, SEO, and web development as well. So hopefully there's something in here for everyone. I'm not going to hang around, I'm going to jump straight in. I will do a very quick introduction, but just to cover off what we're going to go through. So I'll do a bit of an introduction now, talk you through who we are as a business, and then I'll hand over to the guys. So we've got John looking after SEO and talking through what's new in SEO, Arena talking through PPC, we've got Liam talking through web development. Like I say, hopefully there's something in here for everyone, and then at the end there'll be some time for some questions, and hopefully we have the answer to those as well. So first things first, very quickly, with the Digital Maze, we're a full service marketing agency. We're based in the Midlands, Derby to be precise. We've got 32 people working full time for us, and that covers a blend of services. The core ones are SEO, so search engine optimization. We've got the PPC team covering things like Google ads, LinkedIn ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and sort of everything in between. And then we've got the web development team as well, specialising in WooCommerce, WordPress, and Shopify. Google Premier partners, Bing Elite partners, WooCommerce partners now, actually one of only 8 in the UK, I believe. We've been going about 15 years now, so lots of experience under our belts. And like I say, we've got 32 really skilled people in the building to help with your digital strategy, and I've got 3 of those guys joining me today. So we're going to kick off with SEO. We're going to talk about what's new in SEO, and I'm going to hand over to Mr. Cranage.
Hello there. Hi, I'm John. I'm the head of search engine optimization at the Digital Maze. I'm the support act for today, so feel free to go and get yourself a drink from the bar, and the more interesting acts will be along later. But I'd love to say I'm going to be talking about something completely original and something you've not heard of before, but it's a bit predictable in the fact that I'm going to be talking about AI and its impact this year and over the last couple of months in terms of search and where we're at. But I do have some real life examples from clients where we can see the benefits and the drawbacks of featuring in AI overviews and ChatGPT and all of those kind of things. There's been a number of studies published recently on the impact of AI in search, and this is one that's been published recently by Authoritas, which is one on AI overviews. So I'm sure you're familiar with AI overviews. It's what you see in Google for a lot of queries nowadays, where you'll see a text panel at the top which will generally try and answer your query and have a few links to sources. But what this study looked at 10,000 keywords in the US over 7 different industries, and it found that AI overviews appeared in 30% of searches now, which is quite incredible from sort of nothing at this time last year. And what they were seeing is it was mainly for sort of mid-level terms, so it wasn't for the sort of the most highly searched terms. It was kind of for the mid-level searched terms. So really it only made sort of 11% of search volume. So that's still quite a small amount. And from what I've seen in the UK, it's much lower than that. But certainly I don't go a day without encountering one of them. So if we move on to the next one, please, Rob. This is another study from SER Interactive in Philadelphia. Will, who's a clever fellow who runs that agency out there, who's the founder, they found that click-through rates for SEO and for PPC are at an all-time low, and that's based on their study of 10,000 keywords that they've been looking at. But what they've found, and something that I'll show later on, is that if your content does not appear in AI overviews, then click rates are going up. So there's a real opportunity there. So, but for queries that do feature AI overviews in the results, click rates have been declining over the past few months. And if we move on to the next one, it's always been so for the last few years, click-through rates have been declining, and actually clicks through from search. They've always been declining, and this is a study from Spark Toro from Rand Fishkin, and he found that in Europe only 40%. When Europeans searched, only 40% of those searches resulted in clicks, and those clicks were spread between organic results, paid results, and other channels such as YouTube. A lot of the time, nothing was happening, and that might be because people are getting what they need from featured snippets and search features, or they might just do another search. So zero clicks have always been a thing, and if we move on to the next one, Rob. Why that is a thing, as well as people just giving up or doing something else or doing another search, is that as you've seen yourselves, search engine results pages have evolved over the years. It was a long time ago when there were just 10 sort of results with blue hyperlinks. Obviously now you're competing against shopping ads, paid ads, and then there's all of the search features that Google has introduced, like the people also ask questions, the discover brands panel, organic shopping, and discussions and forums as well. So Google has been introducing more and more and testing more and more of these search features, and Google would say they're all designed to sort of help the user find the answer they're looking for. But if you're being cynical, it is all about Google keeping you in their little world and showing you their ads. But what we see is across industries, it is, and of course, as well as these search features, you're now competing against the AI overviews. Search features in the UK, it's different across different industries. So, for example, the bar chart on the left, what we're seeing is home and gardens against electronics, and so what you'll see is, for example, that the local pack results, so that's traditionally the result where you'll see a map and some local businesses when you've searched something. That's much more likely to appear for home and garden stuff, so I guess you might want to go and pick that up or go and have a look at it. For electronics, Google knows that you're more likely to buy that online, and AI overviews are more likely to appear for electronic stuff as well. That might be to do with the sort of the informational stuff and kind of product specs and all of that you might be looking for. And this data is from AWR in the UK, so it's based on millions of queries, and that's putting AI overviews at a much lower rate. So for electronics, for example, it's around 3%. So if we move on to the next one, this is just shows the value of actually appearing in search features, and this is something as SEOs that we've targeted for a long time, because we recognise their value. Because obviously you might not get a click from appearing in featured snippets and stuff like that. At the very least, you'll get some brand authority and some topical authority. It shows that Google recognises that you're an expert in this field, you have value in this field, and obviously users will see that as well. And these are graphs from SEMrush, and you can see that the top graph there, that's one of our clients where we've invested a lot of time working with them to produce some high quality content over the years, and constantly revised it and updated it and kept the quality of it, kept it current, and we've grown and grown the number of features that we've got there, and that's grabbing kind of people's eyes on the search results pages, and that's a client who is a much bigger player in terms of their revenue, and they're being a public company and stuff like that. Yet we're completely outperforming them, and SEMrush gives a value there of appearing in those search results as well. So it just goes to show that informational content, those guides, those articles, if they're useful and Google likes them and users like them, they're going to get you traffic, and they're going to get eyes on your brand and your website. So if we move on to the next one, please, Rob. Yep, and we're going back to the SEER study here, and it is showing that it is an opportunity if for content that doesn't show the AI overviews, click-through rates are increasing. but yeah, they are dropping when AI overviews show. So there is still an opportunity there to grow organic traffic through to your site. So if we move on to the next one, and this is another example from another of our clients where the top graph there, the top table, that's for when a piece of content does appear in an AI overview for 15 different keywords. That's what SEMrush says. And year on year, we've lost 25% of clicks, but impressions are up. So obviously it's getting seen, and the average position in search results has gone up, but we're not getting the clicks, but we are getting visibility from it. And comparing that to a page that doesn't currently rank for any terms that appear in AI overviews, we've seen a 76% increase in clicks from that. So it's kind of both sides of the spectrum, I suppose, where we're getting a lot of coverage and visibility for the top piece of content, but we've lost clicks, and we're getting clicks for that other piece of content that doesn't appear in AI overviews. And this is why it can become kind of tricky when you are working in search nowadays, because obviously traffic has been an SEO metric. It might not be a business metric, but it's an SEO metric that which we can show our value to clients. But traffic across many of our clients is declining because of AI overviews and the other challenges that search has. But obviously the good news is that leads are up and revenue is up, and at the end of the day they're going to be the key things for businesses. So if we move on to the next one, please, Rob. And as well as it being different across different industries in terms of the amount of times you will see an AI overview in response to a query, it's different for different kinds of queries. So for example, if you've got a problem solving query, then you're much more likely, it's like 74% of problem solving queries are going to show you an AI overview. So for example, if you ask what day is Christmas Day on this year, you're probably going to get an answer in an AI overview, and if your website is based around that, you're not going to get a click through to it. And this is something again we've seen. If we move on to the next slide, this is where these are results from Google Search Console. So this is where I've looked at keywords that people are actually sort of seeing this client's website and visiting this client's website on. We can see that I've filtered out sort of the what, why, where, how queries, so like the question queries. And this piece of content, it's been a really good piece of content for us that ranks highly for lots of keywords. For the keywords and the key terms that feature question type queries, clicks are down 30 odd %. But if I filter those out, queries that the page does rank for that don't feature questions or question type terms, clicks are up 10% for that. So that's a real life example, I think, of where AI overviews are impacting the content that we have on our websites. And if we move on, again though, as well as sort of the downside of AI taking away traffic from our websites by using our content and showing our content, we are seeing more and more traffic coming through to our clients' websites from AI. And this is an example of an e-commerce client, and I've looked at the past 7 months of data. And as we can see, it's a very small amount of traffic that we're seeing so far. 0.04% of traffic is currently attributed to AI search. But it is contributing revenue, a very small amount, a small percentage of revenue, 0.02%, but it is generating revenue. And that's because, quite surprisingly, that 83% of the landing pages from AI were for e-commerce pages. So they were for product pages and they were for category pages. And this surprised me, because I would have expected it to have been informational type pages that people were clicking through from AI. But then I guess AI might have been using that content and giving people what they want. But people are obviously using AI to search for products to search for categories of products, and we're seeing that with the traffic that's coming through to our sites. And if we move on to the next one, sorry, if we move back, Rob, yeah, I think that if you can just click on the graphs, the pie chart, sorry, yeah, that just shows that the number of pages. I looked at around 500 pages. The vast majority were products, and then that was followed by product category pages, and then articles, and then company type pages. But the actual percentage of page views, that was split more evenly between categories and products. So yeah, if we move on to the next slide, and this is just how search intent can differ. This is another study that's been produced recently by SEMrush, and this shows that people are using ChatGPT more for informational queries, whereas when it comes to search, there are a lot more navigational queries there. So that might be you're looking for the Bosch website, or you're looking for the BBC website, or something like that, whereas ChatGPT is more likely to be an informational query that you're looking for, rather than a navigational query. But there's a similar amount of commercial intent we can see on both of those channels. And if we move on to the next one, Rob, and this is kind of more developments that we're seeing in terms of the search engine results pages. Google is trying to become a shop. It's trying to become a shop window for you. So we are seeing lots and lots of features when it comes to shopping. And obviously that's kind of precursored by organic shopping appearing in results, which is obviously a great opportunity for people to get in the search results for nothing, I guess. We're seeing comparison modes. This is just in the US at the moment. So, you know, if you typed in a specialized bike versus a trek bike, you're getting a detailed breakdown here of the pros and cons, of the weights, of all of the different features. So, you know, Google would argue that this is great for users. It's giving them what they want. But if your website is based on comparison stuff, or you're preparing content, putting a lot of effort into comparison stuff, this is something to think about, that you might not get clicks through from Google, and this takes up the whole page as well. So obviously it might still make sense for you to have that kind of content on your website from a user and a business perspective, but from a search perspective it might not actually get you any clicks or any visibility at all. And if we move on to the next one, this is something that's been trialed in-house apparently at Google, and that's like an AI mode. So that is basically kind of a full-on immersive kind of ChatGPT experience within Google, within search. And there's a quote there from Glenn Gabe, who says, "We are quickly witnessing the Googleization of ChatGPT and the ChatGPTization of Google search." And that relates to the fact that obviously ChatGPT has now got search functionality and trying to obviously mimic Google in a lot of ways and improve on it. So if we move on, Rob, and very quickly, I guess obviously one of the questions is, how do we address this challenge of AI overviews and generative search when it comes to taking traffic away from us? Again, I'd stress the positive side of it, that you are getting that brand authority, you are getting that topical authority, and brand is very important, and that's with search nowadays as well. If people are searching for your brand, that's going to help your your search results and how you rank, and it's indicative of how, and it's always been the case, but more and more so, obviously your social presence and your other channels as well are all going to play into how you perform in search, because if people are familiar with your brand, people are searching with your brand. There's one client, a big client that we produced the website for, and something like 97% of their traffic, and they get a lot of traffic, is on their brand name. So that just goes to show the importance of that. But in terms of appearing in AI overviews and search, the advice out there, and from what we've seen, is if you're already doing this kind of stuff well and performing well in search, carry on doing that, basically, because the advice and what we've seen is just the same, and that's in terms of Google's advice: stick to its essentials, which is basically having a website that's crawlable and indexable and works and is a good user experience. Don't spam, and importantly, create helpful and reliable people-first content. So that's in line with some of the recent Google algorithm updates, where it's tried to hit what it sees as low-value content, spammy content that's just been produced with search results in mind, rather than sort of useful stuff that's been produced by people who know what they're talking about, and it's been produced to satisfy user intent. So basically, if you're doing that kind of thing, carry on doing that kind of thing. And what the studies have found, that if you're doing well in traditional search and in traditional search features, there's more chance of you doing well in AI overviews as well. So it is a case of carrying on to create that high quality authoritative content. Kind of low grade stuff that might take 2 seconds to knock off using ChatGPT is generally not going to work anymore. It doesn't work anymore. And there's some more subtle advice, but this is kind of the stuff that we've been doing with clients, and that's using natural language, sort of direct questions at times, and a conversational style, but a clear, concise style, staying on point, and the use of entities, this is kind of beyond the keyword, which kind of means it's about concepts, it's about related items, because that's how Google sees content and understands content, and that's how AI does as well. And obviously it's the importance of technical SEO and schema markup as well, which is obviously something that's very important when it comes to products and categories in e-commerce in particular. So that's about it for today from me anyway. So thanks for listening.
Thanks, Rob. It's over to me now. And hi, my name is Irina Holiday, and I'm head of PPC here at the Digital Maze. I have been in the company for over 2 years now as a head of PPC, and have been in the industry and doing all things paid for over 17 years now, almost 18 years as a matter of fact soon, which is a rather scary number. And I've been working on both B2B, B2C clients, client and agency side, done it all in my career. And fun fact about myself is that I'm a former hobbyist model, and now I'm a photography enthusiast, and you're likely to spot me with a camera on the streets if you're local to East Midlands. So let's crack on, and my first update is starting with GA4, and this is a recent update about the remarketing and enhancing it with the first-party data. So the new customer match update now allows you to use first-party data for improved remarketing. Now, this is something that have been already available in Google Ads for quite a while, but this is new because this is available on GA4 side of things. So some of the key benefits of this particular update include broader reach. So obviously, customer match will be boosting your audience even if there are certain cookie limitations in place. There is no manual work required, so there is no need to manually upload the audience like you normally would in Google Ads. And of course, most importantly, the enhanced smart bidding. So the campaigns that using smart bidding will be taking the customer match into consideration to boost the performance. The difference between Google Ads and GA4 Customer Match, if you have used Customer Match in Google Ads before, you probably know that data is being uploaded manually via a CSV file or connected data sources. Now, it is much more easy with GA4 updates, which comes with a seamless integration, and it automatically syncs with a linked Google Ads account, and it nicely streamlines the process and reducing manual work, and that's what we want, right? And in order to activate that, you need to set up the user provided data collection in GA4. You need to link GA4 to your Google Ads, of course, and you need to enable personalized advertising, and that's it. You're ready to go. So that's it for this slide. Let's go over to the next one. And this one is from Google Ads, and there is an update for Performance Max campaigns. One of many for today. As of January 30, all of the new Performance Max campaigns will be required to link business name and logo at the campaign level. So advertisers will have until March 2025, which is just over 2 weeks away. And what we will have to do is to move the brand guidelines to the campaign level. So if you have different business names and logos across the asset groups, Google AI is going to prioritize the assets that are best performing for Performance Max campaigns. Until April, so this is a bit of a longer deadline. Existing campaigns can continue to use the current business name and logo assets for each asset groups until you manually change that. In order to upgrade to the brand guidelines, you need to go to your Google Ads account. You need to go to campaigns and select the Performance Max campaign with the asset group using the brand guidelines. You need to click on asset group and then go to edit asset, and under brand guidelines just click update brand guidelines. And once you verify the pre-filled information and adjust the business names and logos or more if necessary, and you hit save, and that's it, you're all set. Over to the next slide, please, Rob. Brilliant. Another update from Performance Max is something that has been coveted for quite a while in our industry, myself specifically. And this particular update comes with some more advanced controls, improved reporting, and better targeting to optimize the Performance Max campaign's performance. So advertisers will finally be able to gain more control and flexibility in Performance Max, which is, first of all, campaign level negative keywords, and it's now rolling out to all of the advertisers. New customer acquisition goals with the high value mode that is going to be based on predicted lifetime value. It's going to be including improved brand exclusions for retail campaigns, and it's going to allow separate exclusions for search and shopping, which is rather important. There are going to be URL contains rules to target specific page categories as well. And also, this is currently only available in beta, some demographic and device targeting as well. Now, just to kind of expand a little bit more on the search reporting is first of all the search themes that will come with a usefulness indicator and some insights whether the query originated through the search themes or keyword list targeting. So you can see this on the screenshot on the right. And also, most importantly, and long awaited for myself in particular, and I'm sure most of my colleagues as well, is the search term insights for better understanding and optimizing the campaign performance as well. And lastly, there will be improved asset group reporting. So first of all, the ability to segment the asset groups data either by time, device, etc., which has been rolled out, I believe, in the last quarter. However, also it's going to be updated with the greater data accessibility for better sort of analyzing performance outside of Google Ads interface. So for example, you can simply download the data and share it with either your clients or colleagues, etc. Over to the next slide. Thank you. So another update from Google this time around the Merchant Center, and Google is now decided to relax inconsistent language policy for Merchant Center. So, for example, if you're advertising, or you or your client advertising for several different countries, and your website is available in several different languages, you probably know the struggle. So now Google Merchant allows some inconsistent language across the website and feed. In December 2024, which feels like ages ago, quite frankly, Google wrote that they are relaxing the supported language policy to allow some differences between the product feed language and the website language. What does it mean? Essentially, is that the product information, including the title, description, and the variant that are in a different language, are going to be allowed as long as the majority of the product data matches the feed language. Google also emphasized, however, that the elements of the checkout process that enable the user to navigate and make an informed purchase decision are required to be in the same language as your feed. So that is important to keep in mind. Over to the next slide. Thank you. This is once again from Google, and very sort of recent update is Google have decided to try and simplify the conversion tracking, which is a pretty exciting update in my opinion. And the conversion tracking is about to get a heck of a lot easier with the new Tag Manager feature in Google. So there is a new Google Ads form tracking in Google Tag Manager, and it enables the codeless conversion tracking and requires minimal technical setup. So if you're new to Google Ads, or if you just like would like to save your time a little bit, please feel free to give it a go. I certainly will, because it looks pretty cool feature, and I will most definitely be testing it for some of my clients. This particular update dramatically reduces the technical complexity of conversion tracking setup and eliminating the manual coding. And some of the features of this update are including, first of all, the codeless event detection, also flexible form submission tracking, and the multiple URL matching options as well. So it's a pretty exciting one. Over to the next slide, please. Thank you. So this is once again a very recent update from Google, and a rather important one from in my opinion. And this update is that the misleading landing pages are going to get demoted, and the landing page that are aligned with the customer intent are going to get rewarded in a way. So Google has updated its search ad system to prioritize landing pages that are relevant and easy to use, which sort of has been important for quite a while, considering how landing page relevance is a big part of a quality score. However, now Google is checking whether the page the user lands on offers an experience that matches users' expectations. And the new AI-driven checks are going to be conducted in order to evaluate whether or not the landing page offers a user-friendly experience that's going to match their expectations based on the ad's promise. And the ads that are leading to potentially misleading pages, so for example, either showing the promotions instead of, let's say, expected reviews or login page or something of a sort, and they are going to be demoted in a search result. So do keep that in mind when you are choosing the landing pages for your ads as well. Over to the next slide. Now over to update from Meta. It's only a very quick one, and there is a new conversion location for traffic campaigns in Meta, and it now allows you to send traffic campaign to your either Facebook or Instagram page or both. So this is important that it applies to traffic campaign objectives only. So you cannot select, for example, sales objectives campaign for this particular conversion location. So within the ad set, as you can see on the screenshot on the right, you may see a new conversion location for Instagram or Facebook. This allows you to, like I mentioned, to send traffic to Instagram account, Facebook page, or both at the same time. And you can also set the performance goal to maximize the number of Instagram profile visits and a Facebook page visits as well, which is rather handy. For example, either yourself or your clients only have Facebook or Instagram page, but don't currently have a website. Over to the next slide. Great, thank you. Next few updates are from Microsoft Ads, and this particular one is regarding the Microsoft Clarity, and it is now launching Google Ads integration, which is pretty exciting. And this integration gives you visibility into post-click behavior, just allowing you to track the user interactions better, what they're doing on your website, why potentially they're leaving your website, etc. And the new integration of Microsoft Clarity with Google Ads going to help you see exactly how paid traffic interacts with your websites. Some of the key features from this update is, first of all, direct Google Ads account connection, which wasn't there before. New advertising-specific dashboards, campaign-level intent tracking, and also campaign-level engagement metrics. And the new dashboard is giving you a little bit more visibility into engagement metric for each of the Google Ads campaign, and it's going to show the real-time tracking into the post-click behavior. Advertisers are going to have a full integration with the Clarity features using features like heat map and the session recordings as well. So if you're currently running a Google Ads campaign and you have Microsoft Clarity installed in your website, go ahead and link them together for a little bit more insights and a better understanding of what your potential customers are doing in your website. Over to the next slide, and this one is once again from Microsoft Ads, and this is a big scary word, which is a consent mode, and it's coming for UET. So Microsoft has recently announced that the clients with the end users in EA, UK, and Switzerland must now send user consent for UET. So the consent mode must be implemented to adjust how Microsoft tags behave based on the consent status of users. And you must get the consent mode accepted and the cookies accepted in order to be able to fire the UET tags on your website. If your website uses one of the following CMPs, which is Consent Management Platform, if it's user-centric cookiebot or user-centric web, these are supporting for UET consent mode, and it's now built into both of these solutions. UET template now also supports Google Tag Manager consent mode as well, allowing us to retrieve the user consent state directly from GTM as well. So keep that in mind also, because whilst Google was not quite as explicit in saying that UK must implement consent mode, Microsoft Ads is very sort of direct about that, and they are explicitly saying that it must be implemented for the end users in the UK. Over to the next slide. This is kind of a joint update from Microsoft and LinkedIn, and it's about the sort of Microsoft Performance Max campaigns, which are testing expanded LinkedIn targeting. And soon, Microsoft Ads is planning to roll out the update to give a little bit more granular control over Performance Max campaigns, obviously following suit with Google, which is great. And they're also introducing LinkedIn professional targeting data as well. So, so far, advertisers on Microsoft Ads have had some of the LinkedIn targeting options in the account before. Some of them included the company name, industry, and job functions. However, from now on, or very soon, the advertisers in 6 major countries, and this includes the UK, will be able to use some other LinkedIn professional data for targeting, including signals like company size and job title. So this is something that you may want to test, especially if you're advertising on Microsoft Ads. And if you're not, you absolutely need to jump on that, because we've seen personally some great results from Microsoft Ads. And make sure to test the LinkedIn targeting there as well, especially if your clients are B2B. Over to the next slide, please. Lastly, just some of the recent updates from LinkedIn ads, and the recent updates just include some information about the companies, data-driven attribution, measurement insights, and qualified leads optimization. So firstly, companies is something that is going to replace the company engagement report with some more features, better insights, and enhanced reporting. So there's going to be essentially a new way to understand how companies interact with your brand on LinkedIn. And it's going to give you a little bit more engagement insights into sort of broken down by levels, starting from low and ending with very high. Next one is data-driven attribution. That goes beyond the last touch model and uncovers the most impactful touch points in your customer journey. So it would help you to understand the full customer journey, not just the last interaction, not just the last touch. And it will also allow you to optimize the spend and allocate the budget to the most effective activities on LinkedIn. Lastly, but perhaps the most exciting and the most important, especially for the purposes we usually use LinkedIn, there is now going to be a qualified leads optimization function. So this would allow you to tailor your campaigns that target leads that meet certain marketing or sales criteria. So by connecting your CRM to LinkedIn, you can share examples of qualified leads, and LinkedIn optimization tool will find similar prospects for you. So that's it from my end. Thank you for listening, and now over to
Bro, thanks, Irina. So hi, everybody. I'm Liam, and I'm the Technical Director at the Digital Maze. I've been doing this for over 15 years now and lead a team of designers and developers. Worked with hundreds of clients over the past 15 years across many different sectors and solving many different technical problems. And kind of my favorite thing is tech and also AI. But today I'm not going to talk about AI because I think John covered it off nicely when he was talking about the SEO side of things. So next slide, Rob. Today I'm going to go through mainly everything to do with website performance in 2025. But before we go into that, I was just going to recap to everybody what the story of website performance looked like over the past decade. Way back in the world of 2010, probably to 2015, it was quite easy. Essentially, Google just said to us, "We just want your website to load fast." Then we moved on to 2015 onwards, and then it was a case of saying, "Yeah, but just do that for mobile now." And that's when we started to see the correlation between website performance and how things ranked in Google. And then from 2020 onwards, things got a bit more complicated and a bit more technical. They introduced a few new acronyms with the introduction of Core Web Vitals. And towards the end of last year, they introduced a new one called INP. So if we move on to the next one, Rob. What do they actually mean? Because sometimes they can just be three letters and people don't actually know what they are or what they're trying to improve. So if we take LCP, which is the largest contentful paint, essentially that is Google saying how long does the most important part of the page take to load. Could be an image, it could be the top section, it could be a video, it could be a big block of content. Google will determine what it thinks is the most important part of that page. And the job of the website is to serve that under 2.5 seconds, which can be easy to do. It can be hard to do. It really does depend on what website it is and what you're trying to tell your users on that particular page. Then we've got time to first byte, which is how long does it take your server that your website's hosted on to send the first bit of information back to the browser. That one, in theory, is a relatively easy one to fix because the better your hosting server, the quicker that should be. But there are some technical factors that can impact that. And then we go on to the first contentful paint, which anybody in the design world will hate this term. That is Google saying how long until the user can see something above the fold. So whether they're on mobile or desktop, how long does it take the website for the user to see that something's happening? And the current target for that is under 1.8 seconds. And then the last one, which is probably the hardest one to pronounce, which is the cumulative layout shift. Essentially, that means when you go to a website, a lot of the local news websites are awful for this, where you load the page and there's 101 different ads that jump in and content jumps around and you can't really see what's happening. Most of your sites, providing that you're loading images correctly, should pass this test, because the target is 0.1, which is essentially Google saying nothing should shift around when the page loads. But it can be an easy one to fix unless you've got loads of on-page ads on there. Now, if we move into the world of 2025 on the next slide, Rob. This is the new one that Google announced, and kind of tying into what Irina and John have said earlier. Google's really focusing on the user experience of the site, how it actually feels to a user. So interaction to next pane is how long does it take to do something on your website. So this could be many things depending on what your website does. It could be opening the menu on mobile, it could be searching for something, filling out a form, filling out a callback request, expanding an accordion for more information, viewing a product image pop out, adding a product to basket, submitting payment details, and essentially any interaction on the website. Google is looking at that, and if it's slow, it will score the INP poorly, which from everything that we can see and everything Google's telling us is the most important of the core web vitals to get right. So if your site is slow on any of the actions, definitely something to look at, because there is a correlation between this number and how sites are ranking in Google. And again, it ties into everything that Google's doing at the minute about not only is the website fast to load, but is it quick for somebody to use? Can they find what they want? Is it providing the information that the user is looking for? So that was a kind of a quick summary of performance. And on the next slide, there's some useful tools for you to kind of go away and look at. Everybody should know about PageSpeed Insights, but if you don't, that is Google's actual tool, which will tell you what your website score is. It will also provide recommendations on how to fix some of those things, but some of those explanations are quite tricky. And it might be that it gives you a picture of a big wall of red text. It is useful to kind of speak to a developer or an SEO, technical SEO person, just to figure out what is important and what isn't. GT metrics, I find, is a good tool to just give you that kind of A, B, C, D grade based on, is the site overall quick? And it will provide some insights on things like IMP, LCP, and so on and so forth. But my current favorite is a site called SpeedCurve, because it allows you to not only put your own website in, but also your competitors. So you can kind of benchmark yourselves across the sites that you actually kind of look at or you want to beat. And it kind of gives you those scores across, I think it's up to 5 or 6 different competitor sites, so you can see how you're performing. And it also does give some really useful insights about what that load time looks like from Google's point of view, what might be blocking certain requests, and how you can improve it further. So moving away from performance, I like to talk a little bit about the world of e-commerce. And the two most popular frameworks right now are Shopify and WooCommerce. You can see there they've kind of got pretty even market share, and at the minute they are kind of going a bit toe-to-toe with each other on what features they're going to release and what they're going to work on. So starting with Shopify. Go to the next slide, Rob. Towards the back end of last year, their main focus and their product roadmap was really heavy across AI. They were introducing features where you could write AI product descriptions, AI images, AI recommendations, and search assistant. They were very, very heavy on AI. Some of those features have released and are being used, and they do look pretty good. But then going into next year, they've kind of changed what they're going to be focusing on. They are still going to be rolling out kind of small AI features, but they are all about performance. So everything that Shopify and WooCommerce are looking at, which are the website frameworks, they're also looking at what Google are doing and improving their product accordingly. So they're releasing a new front-end kind of framework, which is all about performance and speed, and essentially helping with that IMP score. One of the drawbacks with Shopify is From a developer side, it's not as flexible for developers to kind of work with and add customizations to. It can be quite rigid with it being a closed system, but they're opening out more and more features in 2025 just to give that flexibility to developers, essentially trying to replicate what already exists in WordPress and WooCommerce. And they're also doing that on the user side as well. So making it easier to build out pages and landing pages and add more content onto products is what their focus is for this year. And then moving on to the other side of the fence, which is WooCommerce. To begin with, they just recently released a new brand. So you might see that logo is different from what it used to be. So they spent quite a bit of time on that last year, releasing the new brand and trying to modernize it a little bit, again, just to make it a bit more friendly and maybe try and compete with Shopify from that side of things. They did also last year, one of the big things they worked on was the new checkout experience, which is something that they're rolling out at the minute. And as you can see from the screenshots, if you've ever used a Shopify site, it's not that different. But this year, again, with WooCommerce, their main focus is all about performance. They did some work last year on the speed of orders and the speed of the back end and the admin side. But this time around, they're doing that on the front end. So along with the new checkout, things like the functions to add to basket and so on and so forth are all being sped up a little bit. They are working on introducing AI recommendations, which is something that Shopify did last year. They're finally adding the ability for you to add brands into your products, which will help with things like merchant feeds and product feeds. Again, just kind of keeping up with what Shopify does that Woo doesn't offer. And they're also improving their CMS. So there's lots of different ways you can edit and manage pages within WooCommerce and WordPress, but they're trying to unify that into kind of one more block editing approach that's consistent. So you might see things like Elementor and WP Bakery just disappear slightly because everyone goes more into the WooCommerce way of editing pages. And I think that was it from me.
Okie dokie. Thank you, guys, for your presentation, and thank you everyone for sticking around. I think we ran over slightly than what we had hoped to. However, for everyone that is still here, yeah, happy to take sort of one or two questions from the audience. I'm just going to look through the chat now to see if we've got any from the earlier presentations. So from Marta, I think this is aimed at John from right at the very start of the presentation. Is there a way of utilising AI overview as a business, or is it automatic?
AI overviews, they do appear automatically, so you don't really have any control over them if your content is picked by Google. What I would say is if you do want to be featured in AI overviews, it is those things that I spoke about on the last slide about producing sort of high quality, user focused information that is focused on your user and focused your potential customer and focused on your business, because that's going to get you featured in Google search features as well, because I took a look at your business and I can see that there's no sort of textual kind of search features that your company currently appears in. So that might suggest there is an opportunity there for your business to create some content to help promote your authority, your knowledge and your services to your audience.
Thank you very much. A question for Arena. So if AI is determining what is a misleading landing page, is there any tips you've got to help us avoid being penalised for that? Is there anything to look out for there?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, it would be something that I would suggest to everybody. Make sure that your page as user friendly as possible. Make sure that the landing pages that you send your ads to are 100% relevant. So, for example, if you're advertising, let's say Reebok running shoes, don't send your ads to Nike running shoes or to the homepage. Make sure they're actually going to Reebok running shoes, etc. And something that I am personally a big advocate for is try landing pages. try and use landing pages where it's possible, especially for lead gen campaigns. It's something that, in my experience, has helped a lot with both quality score, landing page experience, and the conversion rate. So win-win here.
Thank you, Irina. Question for Liam. So, Woo and Shopify are both great options, clearly. And I think we develop on both. We don't necessarily have a bias towards an individual one, but I think we have more experience with Woo. I know we're all very impressed by the latest Woo updates. So what would your recommendation be for any startup business or any business looking to transition into e-commerce? Which platform would you recommend? And what criteria would you select for either one, I guess?
Yes, so it depends is the answer. I think Shopify is a platform if you're selling, I'd say fairly simple items, stuff that doesn't have too much complexity involved. Like you can do personalization products and things like that with Shopify, but it is really good. Like out of the box, create a nice looking theme. Especially from like a startup perspective, it's definitely a good option. It can grow into kind of a large scale option as well. But with Woo, and a lot of the time we have people come to us that they've always got kind of complexities or it needs to integrate in with this system that's not been updated for 10 years and things like that. It does offer a lot more flexibility for a developer to kind of work with data, work with integrations, customize the CMS is something we do quite a lot. We will customize our CMSs so that it works for the company. So it's not kind of just a one fits all approach. And essentially both of them at the minute are just kind of copying each other. So Woo are adding features that Shopify have that Woo don't, and Shopify are adding features in that Woo have that they don't. So they're kind of just going toe for toe throughout this year. And I think they'll both end up with the same probably amount of market share next year, but maybe dilute stuff away from the likes of Magento and things like that.
Cheers, thank you, Liam. And returning back to the landing page question, so does it matter where it's hosted? So, for example, if it's hosted on a third-party platform, Instapage or Unbounce, does this impact it against hosting it on your own domain? Or is it just the content that these AIs?
To a degree, because the essentially Google Ads does not like different domains in their campaigns. Subdomain, however, is absolutely fine. So, for example, if you have a website, let's take Digital Maze for example, we have the digitalmaze.com, and if we have a landing page on the domain, let's say landingpage.thedigitalmaze.com, it's going to be absolutely fine. But if it's just going to be, let's say, for the sake of example, landingpage.com, Google is not going to like that and will very likely disapprove your ad. I hope this answers your question.
Thank you, Irina. I think, given we are 1 minute to 11 by my clock, I think we'll wrap up there. But look, I appreciate everybody joining us this morning. I know it's a lot to ask on a Thursday morning. I hope you found the information useful. Thank you, John. Thank you, Irina. Thank you, Liam, for sharing your knowledge. We are looking to do these quarterly and possibly even more frequently if there's the appetite for that as well. So look out for the next one, which will be a Q2 look at sort of the state of marketing and our predictions and our advice going into the next quarter. And yeah, we hope to see you there. Thank you again, and we'll see you all again soon.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for attending.
Cheers.